I didn't see that. It's me. Thomas said it was also known as T. That's me, that is. And this is Olivia, the BMW E36 316i, or should I say 318IS instead. I didn't see that. It's me. Someone said it was also known as T. I've landed in Ashbury's in Manchester. Come down from a TE mooch. And over there is Network Rail's main sort of centre. I think they do a bit of signalling out of there. Sort of their main place is over there behind me. And over there is look, Hancock's Wholesale, but I don't think Matt Hancock owns it. But anyway, I'm on Glossop line. And we've come down from Grange Road Sands this morning, got up at 7 o'clock this morning and got the 20 past 8 train from Grange. It was delayed all the way down, so we didn't get in quite late to Manchester. It was meant to be a Manchester Airport train, but it was cancelled so much it just terminated at Piccadilly. So anyway, we got off that, we got a ticket for Ashbury's, and we got here, and we come here because we've tracked down some rare BMW bits and a BMW breaker. He's over that way somewhere near the football grounds for the red coupe. So we've got some stuff on eBay, but we thought we'd come down. What was it, 195 coming in? We thought we'd come down and say, right, we'll come down, we've saved it posted eBay, what can we have it for cash and see what we can come away with. That's the plan. And I'm in my full high vis today because it was raining this morning. It's not quite raining now, but everyone keeps looking at me because I think they work on there and keep smiling at me. So there you go, T. We'll walk off down that way now. I got the £4.30 case what I got from Age UK yesterday in Milnthorpe, so I can carry my bits home. We're on Alan Turing Way. Look, he invented the big computer. So that's where we are, look. And we're on his way up there to Wilson Street. There we go, look, Wilson Street. So we've got to go up here. I just got a bit of tea with tea. Just stood outside the ASWR, who are BMW dismantlers. And next door is Butty Hatch, where you can get nose bag. We just got some chips way home. So we bought our crank pulley for the red 318 IS Coupe out there, nice chap. But he said he needs to come and talk with boss because he knows everything about older BMs. He said I'm a bit lacking in that department because there's a few other bits we need what we want to do. Because it being an early E36, there's certain bits what quite hard to get now. Like this crank pulley we've come down for today. So they were nice lads, so we might be back for more, and they do delivery, and they will go as far as Aberdeen for delivery and stuff, so they'll come up to Cumbria if we needed anything, because we might try and get a leather interior for the Saloon. So yeah, there's Butty Hatch. Butty Hatch is the wife of the guy who runs the BMW breakers, so it's all family sort of firm, so we got some nice chips. Just had a talk about house prices around here. The little terrace house down there what I was walking past, 180,000 they are. It's a lot of cash for sort of the area, so to speak. And she said it's just because it's Manchester and everything's gone up. So once we've drunk this and that, we're back to Ashbury's station and back into Piccadilly. Vanparts.co.uk. Now this is interesting. My dad has been to a van parts place in Manchester, and I think it's this place. And there's no, maybe the strippings in the yard, but when you look in it, when you walk past, all the parts are on shelves and everything. There's no vans in it. It's just parts and a counter, and it's all anything Transits, Mercedes, the whole shebang. And maybe one day TK can come here with me tour bus, me Transit. It's actually a dream Transit up there what I want. And we could get a few parts to kit it out, and the van parts, and it's in this big old factory. It's really good. Station and then getting back into Piccadilly and then the way home back to Cumbria. There's a 195 coming onto New Mills Central. Ah, we're back at the car, not in here. I've got my brand new crank pulley, what we got from Ashbury's in Manchester. And it all down on chain to get. I've wrapped it well tight here. Let's get it home. That's the brand new. That's the brand new crank pulley off an M42. What's a flat bout one? We don't need this bit. This is for on later cars. This is for air conditioning. Don't need that bit, just need that bit there, so there you go. And the rubber inside here, and they crack around the edge when they go bad, like the one obviously has gone bad on the coupe. So down here, I'll just put it back in here. It says down here, I want to get my torch. Down there, you probably won't be able to see, but down there there's a crank pulley, and that's what's gone bad. Now, we've got to convert all the pulleys to flat belts, so we've got to do a water pump pulley, what does your viscous, got to do alternator pulley, below it is the power steering pulley, what you probably won't be able to see, it's a bit of a tight fit, you just have to get in there, I'll just light it up. Down there there's a, there you go, power steering and an alternator, you can just see there, and a bit lower down there's power steering, and you can just see the crank pulley to the left of the camera there, and that's what we're replacing. So we've got to replace all that to flat belts, but if you come up here, at the moment the alternator is holding on by this really simple bracket, and the adjustment in the belts is done by this bracket. We've got to change all this to a later bracket, and it has 2 tensioners on it. It's a totally different setup to this, and I think we've got hold of some pulleys and a bracket and one tensioner. It's actually a slightly later engine, but we've got to get another. We've got to work it out. It's a bit of a tough one to do, but we'll work it out, and then we'll take it all up to Paddy and get him to fit it all to us so we can have a running car again, so we can drive it in the summer. And these nice days like we have, we're on it's 23rd of February today, and it's spring, but it's too cold, but it's spring, it's nice and bright and light. So that's we're going to get it out for those days. So we got to get this on and get all the other pulleys on, and the 2 tensioners what I got on was a bit of a mystery, but I'm getting my head around it slowly. I'm doing what Bruno does at BDS Performance. He converts the early ones from V belts to flat belts. So I'm doing his way of doing things, but in the TE world. So there you go. So just like that, we were meant to get a crank pulley for the coupe. A month later, one of those late night Facebook marketplace looks, I found another M42 engine, a very early one, out of a 92 coupe 318 IS. And me and the cameraman have always dreamed of putting an M42 in Olivia, because her 1600 was a bit underpowered for the size of the body. And we have lots of experience of M42 twin cams from the red coupe, what has that engine, especially early ones. So within 24 hours it was paid for, and it was booked on a courier, and it was delivered to our top BMW technician, Paddy, and within a couple of weeks the car was in at the garage, and he started to fit the engine. The original thing was, it'd be a 2-day job, but it's never a 2-day job, because we made work for ourselves, not just with the car needing bits, extra bits, more the fact that the flat crank pulley we got for the coupe, what you saw at the beginning of this video, we decided to put that on Olivia because it was more period correct for Olivia, and get the V-belt pulley off Olivia's new engine and put it on the coupe. What's actually currently in the garage getting that job done now as we speak in May 2023. So that was, we made ourselves work putting the flat belts on Olivia's new engine, because we had a bit of a problem with the power steering pump not fitting. But Paddy managed, he's a genius, he's up for a challenge, managed to work it out in the end, and we got it running. The other thing, it had a new UJ put on it because the old one was knackered. It had to have John, who also works with Paddy, who I've just recently done some work on his M3. He made a custom exhaust for it, so we got a proper. We had a proper IS manifold for it, but the downpipe was different on the 1600, so John made a new one. He managed to make the 2 exhausts fit together, and that was about it. And then when he got it all running, we always had a problem with Olivia when we bought her. The original owner didn't like it, was getting rid because he couldn't get it to run right. He thought it needs a new cat, it doesn't go, the emissions are bad on it. Turns out it was actually the engine. I think the original engine needed just a good going over and maybe a new thermostat, because when we put the new engine in, Paddy put it on the diagnostic machine, and it worked. It was proper. It meant it warms the cat up and everything, and it runs even better, because we had a big problem with the 1600, not just because it was underpowered. it drank fuel. It just, I don't know where fuel went, but it just disappeared very quickly. But the new M42 are quite an economical unit for the size of the car. You can do 30 plus mpg on them, especially on a long run, because it was already tested and proven with the coupe. We knew what they were like, as you know, they were good economical cars. So now we've got a 4-door BMW E36 Saloon called Olivia with an M42, fully stock. The only thing you might see in the engine is the coil packs are on a half moon shape, and it should be straight and have a cover over the top of them. That's the reason that behind that is the coil pack holder on Olivia's original engine's different to an early coil pack for an M42. So that's the best we could do. It actually looks quite good. It just looks like an old engine. And they get wet anyway. The cover doesn't really do a lot. You know, they do get wet and heat on them anyway, so they're all right. The only thing that she needs just a K&N panel filter, not a cone, a panel filter, just in her airbox, because that really complements an M42. Just giving a bit more poke. And maybe a long-term thing is we'll take her to Bruno BDS Performance to get a stage 2 map on her and port and polished, where you can make a 140 horse M42 about 160, 170. That was the original plan to do with the coupe as well, so we might take both if funds are available to do that. But as you saw in the very intro, she's done 2,000 miles completed on her M42. The only problem we've come across is she's got a very slight water leak. What just dribbles every time you turn it off and it cools down, it loses a tiny bit of water. That needs going back to Paddy. Paddy has a feeling where it's coming from. When he fitted the engine, there was some pipe what he wasn't too happy with, but I think he reckons that's where it's coming from. So that's the only thing what's really gone wrong. She doesn't burn oil. She's a good runner. She's done. Cameraman's been to the ROI tonight. We've done Ripham show, we did Fort Perot show, we did Ripley Castle show, and we went to Derbyshire in her last weekend. She did quite a bit of miles at Derbyshire weekend. But like going to ROI, the cameraman did. He put nearly 1,000 miles on her. So yeah, 2,000 miles completed all in with the amount of trips we've done. So yeah, she's running well, and as you can see now, I'll show you a bit of footage of when Paddy had the engine out and we did a bit of work on her, and show you what it's like in the car now. Filmed in me smart dealer boots and duffel coat a few months ago. The old engine here, M43. That's what Olivia looks like now, nothing in. Me and cameraman have just put some crust down on a bit of rust on chassis rails here. Just took that E36 pipe off there, so when I replaced the O-rings. And over there is the new M42, what's going to go in. What we've flat belt converted, and a flat belt crank. We went to Manchester to get that, what you'll see in this video. Well, actually it's for a coupe video, but you'll see it in this video now. So there's all flat belts. It's got 2 tensioners set up on it. Where the old engine's all V-belts. You won't be able to see. That's a V-belt on there. It's a V-belt. Ah, well, we've picked Olivia up. She's dead shiny. First class service at Blue Line. Even go and get it washed and tyres shine on it. So John went and got it and turned up in it. It's looking very shiny, as you can see. But I'm going to do a different video on looking at what Paddy did to Olivia in a separate video. But this video is all about the travel from Granville Sands to Ingleton. And now we're at Truckhaven, just outside of Cardiff, to get a bit of nose bag with tea. I haven't been here for a few months. Let's get in. Oh, I've got your nose bag. Look, I've got some cheesy chips in Truckhaven. Look, since 1990, I've been coming here since it was a wee tea, very baby tea. Got the cheesy chips look well melted in here. And Olivia's outside, out there, and I've just about to put some mayonnaise on, and then we're gonna go to Aldi and Carnforth and get some I think we need some blue rolls and some milk, I think, for Tea's mum. So we want to get that. We'll eat this first and then we'll get on the road again, back home. This now, for the last month, since the beginning of April, Olivia here has been on a holiday in Ingleton. She's sort of been across the border, so to speak, visiting Paddy and John. John's also there now at Blue Line Logistics. You know, it's a big truck garage, but they do cars outside. And Paddy, who works there, likes his old school BMs, so he's done work on other BMs. But we said we'd like to do an engine swap, Paddy. We've got this engine. Can we send it to you? And we'll bring the car when you're ready. And he said, oh yeah, fine, let's get it on. Let's get doing it with. So early on this video, you would have seen me going to Manchester to get a flat belt from ASWR. They're a BMW breaker with a really nice chip shop at the side who the wife runs. Now that V-belt was for the red coupe. What's a V-belt? What's got it's wobbly at the moment, and we were going to flat belt convert it because the V-belt, you can't get them. But it turns out we bought an engine what had a V-belt for Olivia here, and then like that another engine come up with another V-belt, and so what we've done is we flat belted this engine, get the crank pulley off it and put it on the coupe. And we've also got a second V-belt from another engine if we need it, if this other one's duff. So we've done all right there. So I'll get bonnet open and show you what Paddy's been up to. Like to say, we're actually at the Ospreys on the A590. We need to come back here and do a bit of bird spotting, but I want to get this video done. So as you can see, it's a more complete engine. It used to be a single cam 316 1.6 engine with 102 horsepower. Now it's a twin cam M42, a very early M42. Came out with a 92 carb. Paddy said it's actually stamped 91 on the back. Now this engine came from the E30, and then when this shape came out, they put them in the coupes as a 318 IS. The only difference is the intake system's different on it, and obviously there's a different sump on it and so forth. Now, so Paddy's put it in here. The difference is it's flat belt. What's down there? So flat belts. We've used an alternator off the old M43 1.6 and the tensioners, and I think a couple of like the pulley on power steering and stuff and water pump. But the crank pulley is what we got in Manchester, what you see down there. And then the other thing is a normal N42 should have a cover over the coils. Now, this being a later car, had a small coil pack on, so the bracket was different. So it's got a half moon shape, but actually looks quite good actually. Probably purists won't like it, but it looks all right to us. It's quite quirky, isn't it? Makes it look like an old school engine rather than a newer engine. But like the cover they put on them anyway on the early coils is useless anyway. Got new hose on top, new top hose. Bottom hose you cannot buy. Every warehouse in Britain you can't buy them. So Paddy's done a fix where, because this is off an M43, the old engine, it's rubbing against the fan housing. So he's put these around it, stop it rubbing, get us by for a bit. Throttle cable's slightly different. I think it's either slightly shorter or this plastic slightly shorter, but it works. When he pulled the engine out, the UJ on the steering is seized up, so we bought a new one overnight shipping. You probably can't see, it's right down in the depths of the engine down there. We got one for 40 quid off eBay, shipped in. And when the engine was out, I'll have some pictures of this, me and the cameraman sprayed the Lano guard down the back of the firewall and those pipes, because those pipes you never ever get to, and once the engine is out you could get to it. And there was a couple of like, not rust, but like surface rust on one of the back of the chassis leg on there, what we treated with some crust and some paint. But that's everything really. It's gone up 40 horsepower in a month. So it's a 318 IS Saloon now. Now the 318 IS Saloon he did do in later years for the UK market, 96 onwards, sort of the last thing, and the cars were made in Africa. In America, the saloons, they never put single cams in, they always put these engines in, so the Americans always got these. where the Brits, we've just got, and the Saloon only got like the single cam 1600 and 1800, where this came in the 318 IS Coupe. What we have at home, what's the red one? So we've got two E36s now with the same engine, but obviously one's got 2 more doors and the other hasn't. It's made it more desirable, Olivia. She's quite a sought after car now with this engine, because people doing this at the moment is getting M42s and putting them in a Saloon, because you can pick a Saloon up really cheap. You can pick an engine up and you just put them in. And all the diff on the back end of this is the same 3-4-5 ratio what this engine should have. So it's a really good straight fit you can do. Now, straight swap, plug and play. This is took a slightly bit longer because we flat belted it, and we had a bit of headache flat belting it because certain brackets were slightly different. And also, you know, you had put the UJ, the exhausts were different, where the manifold fastened to the downpipe was different, so we've had to change all that. But this engine's done 112,000, where the body of the car's done 81,000. So he hasn't done a lot more than the body. Me and the cameraman can't work out if we're not used to an M42, because we haven't driven the coupe for a while, or this engine feels really, really quick. It feels really spunky, as you'd say. But we don't know, is it a case of it's low mileage, or we're just not used to it anymore, or is the fact that on this exhaust it's got one less resonator in the exhaust, when the IS they put an extra resonator in. I don't know the difference, but it feels quite a fast engine. Maybe we're just not used to it, really. But yeah, and even Paddy and John had it to details around corner, and they'll give it a wash with a bit of tyre shine on, so the Olivia's Samoa blue paintwork looks proper smart. And as you've seen in my previous videos, we've put full grey leather interior in it and wood package. I've still got to detail that with some Uniclean, and I've got to get a rug doctor to suck my carpet out because it's still slightly damp, as you saw. And she needs to go this door and this door. The previous owner, it was parked in Penrith, it'd been scratched. So it's got to go to a body shop to get them fixed, you can't polish them out. And the bottom grey sills need spraying. Because they faded, and also this around there, there's a scratch on the corner of the bumper there what needs rubbing down and respraying again. But as you can see, when it turned up, because it wasn't there when we turned up and John turned up in it, the wheels look amazing on it, and I went, I've never had them that clean. So the people where they took it to must have some really acid sort of wheel cleaner, what's better than mine, because I've never seen the wheels so clean. And this is the only, I think apart from one wheel, this is the only E36 what the wheels are mint on it. There's no curbing on it. It's been well looked after. So there you go. That's Olivia, finished, nearly finished, bit interior work like I just said. But she's ready for the classic car shows. The first one is on the 7th of May at Ripon Racecourse. And it should be parked up against another E36 of a friend's, Chrissy's, who you might have seen when we looked round his Capris and he had a red coupe we had a look round. Who I went and looked at that grey E36 the other week at. So that's what we're looking forward to. The coupe was meant to go to Paddy today, but a bit of a delay on that. So it will go to Paddy in probably a month's time. And the coupe needs its crank pulley doing, a water pump, a thermostat, engine mounts and a transmission donut doing on it, and then that's ready to get on. That's booked in for 2 shows this year, but mainly the coupe is going on road trips this year more than shows, where this is doing a lot of the shows, Olivia is, because she's got 4 doors, so it's a bit more practical like. Anyway, so if you've enjoyed today's video, make sure you give us a like, a share and a like, and a comment below, and a subscribe. And I've got a Patreon link below, and you can have some tea merch, what I'm not really wearing today. I'm a bit of middle class today with me brogues on. I should have the merch on really, repping the brand, but not really. And I haven't even got my high vis on, that's not my trademark look. So if you've enjoyed today's video, subscribe. I've said everything pretty much, haven't I? Remember to click that big bell. Ding!